What were the principal drivers behind your decision to adopt this Perfect Store pilot at Schiphol?
Well, obviously, Schiphol wants to maximize sales and revenue, and we believe strongly in the Trinity approach between brands, retailers, and airport operators. And I think this has been a fantastic example of that Trinity approach. And obviously, we want to increase spend, sales, and revenue. And we saw that the confectionery category was lacking behind a little bit, and we thought the joint category management with Nestle would work and would benefit both Nestle, Schiphol Airport Retail, but also the airport operator.
This is still relatively new to you. Are you pleased with what's unfolded in terms of the delivery of the new execution and of sort of sales at the till?
Yeah, so far the first results have been very positive. And you can see it's not only benefiting the category confectionery, but I think also liquor and tobacco will benefit as well. And in general, we see an increase in sales per passenger, which is our main objective.
There are going to be a lot of learnings from this particular pilot exercise.
Absolutely.
And you'll take it elsewhere in the terminals?
Absolutely. And again, I think the Trinity Forum approach has always been a very important part of our business model. We really strongly believing in business partnership, in true business partnership. And it's really the first time we work so closely with Nestle on a redevelopment like this. And again, the first results are positive, so I'm quite positive we'll do this more in the near future.
But this is also part of Schiphol itself being first in the field, wanting to be a prime mover.
Yes.
In terms of developing new innovative ideas that actually generate incremental income.
Yes, it's our ambition to be a Europe-preferred airport, and it's the retail experience, but the whole experience in the terminal is very important. And we strongly believe that if you have a pleasant environment and a great experience, then the sales will go up as well. And with the recent redevelopments here at Schiphol, we've seen that's working very well, and so I think that's a winning model.
Just give us some background as to how you got into developing a Perfect Store concept.
We took over in 2010 the confectionery concession, and we knew that we had to learn about this category just by doing things. And then we met Nestle and we listened to the story of Perfect Store. And we thought this is a wonderful idea because before the store was separated confectionery from liquor and tobacco, whereas in fact two stores under one roof. The first step in 2010 was to move it onto one roof with the three categories. And what we were learning was that the integration of the categories were not optimal and that the ease of shop was not really clear for the consumers. And what we all did was looking carefully on the ease of shop and utilize our intelligence and data mining what we have, including all the nationalities, to understand what customers moves. And there were the adaptations, and the main change was that we were making more intimacy with the three categories, and it was more an inclusive approach of confectionery within tobacco and liquor. And the other main change is that we moved to one cash till with a queuing system, with a tail point strategy behind it. Before we had two cash tills.
It's certainly day and night compared to what we filmed about 4 weeks ago, and it's still very early days yet. But can you actually just give us a physical description of what precisely has changed in store?
Primarily what we did is we doubled the linear meters of confectionery. So that's, I think, one main thing. We look more carefully on the paths in the store, the adjacencies to confectionery, liquor, and to confectionery and tobacco. And the main principle was that we moved everybody, all the customers, to the cash till through confectionery, because the confectionery is very impulse driven. And we have the revenues by now. The other thing was to have the premium part of confectionery lined up with wine and champagne, because that are very good adjacencies from a category and customer perspective.
Yes, it certainly looks a lot better than before, much more dramatic and much more inviting. So passengers, they see the shop better too.
Yeah, that's. I think the navigation improved, and but also the impulse nature of the category. And what we see now is that the traffic figures on confectionery are growing better than before, and also better in line with the transaction growth in the other categories. Besides that, we also see that the average spend is also increasing quite dramatically.
I guess one of the key points about the development of Perfect Store here has been your relationship with Nestle, and the key thing around that has been the level of transparency that you've both adopted in terms of trying to forward this project.
I think it is evidence that joining forces is benefiting all parties, but I think it's most important that we try to re-innovate or innovate in the category, within categories, by putting all the knowledge together. The basic angle is to use this site from a consumer and understand what a decision tree is, what they do in their mind, and to see what buttons we can push so that there are or more shoppers or they spend more.
Well, one last question. I mean, where do you see the story evolving from here?
We are analyzing this data, and we are learning quite a lot already. We see that the queuing system is working perfect, but we have already ideas to improve it. So we are looking for that. We see on peak moments that we are not managing the queue well enough, so we are working on a mobile cash till to reduce the pressure on the queue. And we want to put more hours into the shop to have more face-to-face contact with consumers, to indulge them and to invite them to buy more by just putting baskets in their hands.
So, getting perfect.
That's what we are aiming for.
Alan, we heard from Otto and Peter earlier about just how much importance they place behind this particular pilot in Lounge 2 at Schiphol Airport. Can you take me through the physical changes that have been implemented here?
Sure, there's been really a number of physical changes which have taken place in the store, and it's centred around really targeting the confectionery shopper better and the non-confectionery shopper. If we take the confectionery shopper, there's 3 steps that we've taken, really centred on improving the ease of shop within the confectionery category through greater segmentation across gifting and snacking and sharing. And within that, we've also improved the range management, which are focused on key leading brands and giving them more space. And equally, having better in-store execution, which engages the confectionery shopper better. The second piece, which is about targeting the non-confectionery shopper, is looking to incorporate complementary categories such as fine wine and champagne, which in this particular execution here in the Central Store in Lounge 2, you've got a great example of where they've incorporated premium fine wine and champagne, which looks fantastic. And the key objective there is to increase the cross-category sales per se.
Of course, one of the most obvious physical changes here has been the difference in the till points. Just walk us through the logic behind that.
The logic really is built upon shopper insight, which is really centred on applying a till point strategy. Now remember, the till point is the last point of purchase in the shopper journey, and it's really capitalising on, again, the impulse nature of confectionery and last minute gifting, which has an application both for confectionery and non-confectionery. So what we've developed here is a queue system to manage flow of shoppers better and to capitalise on the 90 to 120 second queue time to really put temptation within arm's reach and to provide different solutions. And what we'll see from this is, again, a lot of incremental sales at full value, which drives average transaction value and spend per head, and ultimately increase the basket size.
What are you hoping to get out of this particular pilot?
I think what we will get out of it is, firstly and foremost, is increased sales, an acceleration of confectionery sales, but also an increased cross-category sales between confectionery and non-confectionery per se, but also learn a lot, which is important as well to understand those changes we've made and what the impact they can have to drive confectionery growth.
And I guess those learnings will be translated into different executions in different airports as time unfolds.
Absolutely, but one thing I would stress is that not one size fits all, and the execution that we have here in Schiphol will be very different elsewhere. It really is about understanding who your shoppers are, what are their needs and what are their expectations, and what is their shopping behaviour, and customising that offer accordingly, but working within the framework of Perfect Store.